Alrighty guys, it's cam bearing time. So I had mentioned in the last video I was going to redo the cam bearings in this motor, and that's what I'm going to do today. So I went ahead and pulled the pistons out, and then I decided to go ahead and just pull the crank too, just because it's much easier to get to the cam bearings you know, from here. And you got to put a wrench on the cam bearing tool and all that, so you can't do it with the crank in there. I forgot. I thought maybe you could, but you can't. So pulled that all out, laid everything out over here, and yeah. So the cam bearings I'm going with, there's a couple different kinds you can buy. Like you can buy coated or uncoated. I went with the coated ones. I don't know if this is the part number, Durabond FP-18T. I don't know if it makes a difference or not. They were like 20 bucks more, but I figured why not? I mean, they're supposed to be high performance, supposedly. So not that, you know, maybe that little extra protection of the coating might help. I don't know. But so yeah, I've already pounded out the old bearings, okay? So this is just a basic standard from Jegs universal cam bearing installation tool. It comes in a box, gives you different dies that go, you know, into different sizes, so you could do different engines with it. But yeah, it's just two pieces. It kind of connects together right there, and it's got a little ring here that slips over and kind of expands when you tighten it up, so that it can fit the inner diameter of your bearing. So okay, so like I said, we got everything out, and going over to the set here, you got to notice that you're going to notice that there's different positions. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so number 5 would be this one here. Yeah, number 5 is this one here. 5 starts in the back. Okay, so that would be number 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1 would be the front. Your front one is always different. It's got 2 holes. One for the, and you'll see in the block too, if you look up underneath, there's 2 holes, one here and yeah, one here. So you can see where those line up, there and there. The rest are just 1 hole. So, and it's fairly easy to line up. People make a big deal about, oh, make sure you line them up right, but it's really not that hard. And I'll show you. It's basically, flashlight. You see this little rib here, it's like sticks out a little bit. That's the oil passage. Okay, so basically what you want to do, let's see if I can grab number 2 here. Yeah, that's number 2. So basically you're just going to take that slot, and from the top you're going to look at it, and you're going to line it up with that, center it over that little rib that kind of sticks out. Okay, and that's where you're going to press it. Now you've got all that room for error. Okay, so if you're off a little this way, you're fine. If you're off a little this way, you're fine. It's not a big deal. And then you can pretty much just, once you get it in there, you know, shine a flashlight down here, and you're going to be able to see it. You're going to see the hole come through, and the light is going to come through the hole, and you're going to be able to tell that you're in the right spot. All right, so the first thing I did was I cleaned, after I beat the bearings out, I really cleaned it really good with some brake cleaner and a cloth to make sure you get everything off of that surface that you're going to be, you know, putting the new bearing in. So you basically, you take your, so basically you just take your tool here, okay, and you get it. Just go ahead and insert it all the way to your last bearing, and you want to stop right about there, and you want to double check to make sure you got the right one, so it's stamped on there. Yep, number 5. I'm sure there's no way you're going to see that on camera, but I saw it, so it's number 5. Okay, and then like I said, you get your tool all the way in there, get your bearing down here, and you're going to want to slide it over your tool. Okay, so you just slide it over, get it to kind of butt up just like that. You can get it flush, stick it in there, and kind of, there we go, nice and flush. And you want to tighten this up really good so that it doesn't slip. So like I said, all I'm doing is holding the wrench and tightening this end here, okay? And then you have a cone here that you want this cone basically pushed up into the this first hole here so that, you know, you're basically aligned straight. So yeah, so we're ready to beat this one in. I'll go ahead and set the camera and hopefully you guys can see that. I'm not 100% sure if you're gonna be able to see it or not, but we'll try. All right, so you can see I'm lined up with this rib here. Try to center it over this slot. And like I said, there is room for error, so. All right, I'm gonna stop there because you can see I'm really close to the edge. So what I wanna do now is I'm gonna take the tool off and I'm gonna look down to see where I'm at and see how much further I need to go. I may only need to go maybe one more tap, but we'll see. Let me take it off and we'll check. All right, so it's gonna be hard to see, but you can kind of see there's a little light shining on the bearing itself. And you can see it's in the shape of like a half moon. So that means we're not in far enough yet. So I just need to tap it in a little bit more and we should be good to go. So I tapped it in a little bit more and you can see, yeah, you can kind of see that it just kind of butts up flush with the block. Okay, once you're flush with the block, that's kind of where you need to be. But always double check, you know, look down the hole and make sure there's an oil passage, basically. Like I said, it doesn't need to be perfect because you have that slot, so you have some room for error, okay? So, all right, let's move on to the second one, which would be, in the box, they're kind of set up the way you need to put them in. So, you know, this would be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this would be number 4. Okay, let's double check that. 4. Yep, that's number 4. It's kind of tough for me because I'm blind, so but yeah, that is number 4. Oh, and it doesn't matter which way they go in. Like, you can put it in this way or you can flip it around and put it in that way. It doesn't matter. They're not like directional in that sense, just the slot. So, oh, and sorry, I forgot to mention, I add just like a tiny bit of oil to the edge here just to kind of get it started so it's not, doesn't like gall it up too much. This one's a little tricky to get in there. Get your hand in here. Right. Put your tool on this side. So we'll spin it till we get it right there. Again, the slot, little rib there, that's your oil passage. So again, this cone here, I'm just pushing it up against the last hole, okay? That's pretty much it. You just push it up against there and that lines this all up straight. All right, we're almost there. Okay, so you can see it's just starting to butt up against the block. Go ahead and loosen this up, pull it out carefully. All right. Flashlight. Yeah, got that one good. You can see the light shining perfectly through that hole right there. So once you see light, you know you're good to go. All right, guys, so number 3 went in perfect too, okay? You can see that little light coming through. And another kind of tip I'll mention is don't use a small hammer. Use a large hammer, okay? Because you want more weight behind it, so you're not having to pound like a lot. You want more like, I don't know, more of a heavy blow to move it. You don't want to sit there and just hammer constantly with a small hammer. So that's just a little tip. But anyway, so we're on to number 4, and then we got to do our last one there. So, okay, so for the last one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of look up underneath here and find the hole, okay, and then put a line right there on the block, and then find this other hole here, which happens to be kind of in line with this hole. Well, basically right in line with it. So, you know, you got your 2 marks there. So just because I don't want to screw this one up, you know, because it's got 2, so that'll make it a little easier. I can line up my last bearing by those marks and drive it home. Okay, that looks pretty close. Yep, it can go a little bit more. Not much, just maybe another 2 taps. Very important to get this tight, okay? That's really important because if it's not tight, you can slip underneath the bearing and go inside of it and really destroy it. Ask me how I know. Okay. That's it right there. It's really good. The last one too, you can actually look from kind of look from underneath and you can see where if it's lined up or not. So that's the benefit of the last one here. So you can see we're there and we're there. So yeah, we're good to go. Let's go ahead and I have a cam installation tool. Haven't used this in a while, but kind of helps you keep from not damaging the bearing, because like I told you guys earlier, that when I took those cams out, I didn't use that tool. I just was like in a rush and I pulled the cams out, and I may have nicked the cams doing that. I may have nicked the bearing, bearing doing that. So it's a good idea to use one of those. It gives you more leverage and easier to handle. So let me go ahead and do that, and yeah, we'll see how it looks. Alrighty, so everything went together good, and you can see it just, I mean, spins perfect, nice and quiet, no binding. You can just feel like it just feels real slippery. You know, that's what you want. You want that feeling of like, it just feels like it's slipping like crazy. So feels really good. So yeah, I'm happy the way that came out. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. You know, don't be afraid to try this. It's not that hard. Even if you destroy a set of bearings, I mean, the cheap ones are like $26. It's not that big of a deal, you know. It's a good learning experience. And I've wrecked a few in my day too. So, but anyway, we're gonna get all this put back in here, and yeah, I can start putting everything else together, like the timing chain and, you know, all that stuff. So I mean, a little update on the car. We've got, I think I showed you guys the motor being pulled. I pulled the motor out already. Okay, it's sitting over here. These are the P heads. The transmission, like I told you guys, we got the nice B&M shifter. What else? Yeah, I started pulling more stuff off this car. As you can see, motor's gone. So, and I already ordered I'm not gonna go trying to use that 95 ECU. I'm just gonna sell that. I think I can get a couple $100 for that because it works good, and I have a video of it running, so that's a bonus. And yeah, so I ordered the Holley Terminator X. It's supposed to ship in a couple days, so, but we'll see. I don't know. I put one of the wheels on this car. I don't know what you guys think of it. I know it doesn't look right now because it's sitting so high, you know, with no motor in it and all that, but I kind of like the way they look. I mean, I think it'll look pretty good once it's lowered. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, and I also did a few other things too. I pulled all the interior out of this car. So this one's pretty much gutted as well, so we can start wiring the body back up. Because as you know, when I did the 1J swap in this car, I basically tore all the wiring out and just left a couple things that I needed, like lights and brakes, and that's it. So I pretty much need everything. I need to wire up everything for, you know, the AC. I need to wire up the turn signals, the brake lights, everything. So that's going to be a little bit of a chore, but I'm thinking of, you know, just kind of doing it myself and make my own little relay board and make my own fuse panel and all that. I have tons of wire. It's going to take a little time to do it, but I think I can do it. And I did put the pedal box in. Okay, this is the manual pedal box. And yeah, it had a nice shifter. The quadrant, that was out of the 95, so it's a little scratched up, but it's pretty nice. So that's a Steeda aluminum quadrant and or a BBK, I'm not 100% sure, but it's got the firewall adjuster too. So that all fit right on here. No issues there. Everything swapped right over. So, you know, but yeah, this is, as you can see, these are all the wires that I cut that I didn't use. So it won't be that bad to, a lot of these are speaker wires, okay? So most of the, quite a few are speaker related. So, you know, we got, this is the green is the fuel pump, and the brown is the brake lights, the tail lights, and yeah, so there's a few other things we'll have to wire up, like a, we definitely need some kind of a sending unit for the fuel level and all that. So, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna get like a Holley dash or try to wire up a stock dash. I don't know, we'll see. I prefer to do like the Holley 7.5-inch dash, and I believe that comes with a lot of different things you can hook up to it. GPS, so you can get your speed and all that, so you're not having to run a cable or run a sensor to your transmission and all that. Just a lot of cool things you can do with it. So, but anyway, that's a little update on the going back to stock Fox. So anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you learned something, and I'll check you all later.